Xenoblade 2 has always been a great game, held back by a few frustrating mechanics. 8 years later, the Switch 2 edition finally fixes them. Beyond the visual upgrades and the new content, some of the biggest improvements are the ones we didn't know were coming. One of them is field skills. Previously, you needed the right blades equipped, with enough field skill levels to meet the requirement. If you had the right blades but couldn't equip enough of them at once, you couldn't pass the check. Now all unlocked blades count automatically, eliminating the need for constant party swapping and menus. This completely transforms exploration, letting you access certain areas earlier than before, and making common blades more useful, especially in early to mid-game. This was one of the most common complaints about Xenoblade 2, and it's actually something specifically I wished for in a previous video. The change also applies to resource gathering, since field skills can now activate from unequipped blades at collection points and while salvaging. However, if a collection point or salvage check requires multiple field skill activations, only the first one can come from an unequipped blade. Additional activations will still require the relevant blades to be equipped. Even with this limitation, it's so much better than the original. Collection points are also much faster now, since all of the collectibles spawn at once instead of in separate waves, and you regain control after the first field skill activation. You can now use L and R together to take screenshots without the HUD. This works in the main menu, during cutscenes, and even during blade combos. Something we see in the newer games is finally here in Xenoblade 2. Alongside that, video capture is now supported, and the main menu has cursor memory, so it remembers where you left it off instead of resetting every time. Sadly, we only have a single save slot. I was really hoping we'd get more, but I guess that's to prevent players from getting around the gacha system. There's also HD rumble during certain cutscenes, and you can now press the minus button from the system screen to return directly to the title screen. Small changes that make a big difference. The Switch 2 edition removes regional language restrictions, letting any version of the game use any supported text language, with the exception of Japan-only Switch 2 systems, restricted to only using Japanese. Amiibo support has also been added, letting you scan up to 3 Amiibo per day to receive rewards, such as XP, battle points, weapon points, and collectibles. However, there's currently a bug with Amiibos in New Game Plus. If you've unlocked the 3rd accessory slot using an accessory expansion kit, scanning an Amiibo that gives you a bonus weapon points can cause the 3rd slot to disappear. The accessory isn't deleted, but the 3rd slot just cannot be used. Hopefully we do get a fix for this. Scanning Pyra and Mythra's Amiibo is one way to unlock their new outfits. The other way is through the Merc Assault mode. As shown in the trailer, Pyra and Mythra's new outfits can be set as their default appearance, changing their artwork, icons, and appearance in most cutscenes. If you prefer the originals, don't worry, you can always switch it back. Another subtle change is the combat audio mix. The music has been toned down a bit, making sound effects and voices louder. This is actually one of the wishes I had, since before there were some scenes where the music was way too loud. There's also some speculation that rare blade pulls have been increased. I've seen a surprising number of people who started a new game claiming that they pulled Cosmos very early on. A lot of people, myself included, never got her even after finishing the story, because she was notoriously difficult to pull. I really hope that these new rates were increased. I haven't started a new playthrough yet, but hopefully we get her a lot sooner this time. I really hope the rates were increased even slightly, because this is another change I wish for. The update adds a new blade, Momo, bringing more Xenosaga representation. Momo can freely swap between real mode for offensive damage and imaginary mode for support, all while fighting alongside her companion Bunny, making her one of the most unique blades in the entire game. I haven't done her quest yet, but from what I've heard, it seems to be a great quest. If you've completed it, let me know what you think. To get her, you'll first need to complete the quest Tora's Secret Stash to obtain the Pretty Core, which is then used to start her blade quest, Home of the Soul. The new Merc Assault Squad Battle mode lets you directly control blades. It's fast, fun, and feels amazing. The mode can be unlocked with the quest Vandom's Other Ask. It makes me wonder if Monolith Soft will add a new mini-style game mode similar to this and Xenokart in Xenoblade 3. Let me know in the comments what you think might happen. With the visual upgrades, we now have 4K 60fps docked and 1080p 60fps in handheld, looking even more stable than Xenoblade 1 and X. The menus are incredibly smooth and we use them quite a lot. Exploration feels smoother, combat feels more satisfying, and the game runs amazingly. It's not 100% perfect, but Xenoblade 2 needed the biggest boost. There are still a few more additions I wish we got, like extra save slots. I'm really glad that most of my wishes were granted, even some of the ones I never thought we'd get. Honestly, this feels more like a definitive edition rather than a Switch 2 upgrade, and for the price of 10 USD, it's absolutely worth it. I think we got a lot more quality of life changes than we expected, and the Switch 2 edition turned out great. The physical edition will be out October 1st, and if you own Torna physically, you get an upgrade for free. I haven't played Torna yet, but I was going to get the physical copy soon, and I'll be streaming it for the first time on the Switch 2, so I'm really excited to see how it looks. I've heard the upgrade makes it look absolutely beautiful. This also makes me really curious about what other unannounced features Xenoblade 3 might get. Let me know in the comments, what is your experience with this update? And that's all for today. Thank you for watching.